Hi, today we're going to be building 3D models using nets of three-dimensional objects. Before we get started, I just want to show you the equipment that we're going to use for this lesson. So first, you're going to need scissors and a paper punch and glue. You're also going to need something that you can thread through the holes we're going to make. You can use string or thread or wool, whatever you have available, but it needs to be fairly long. It will also help if you have a needle. You can use a nice fat needle like I have over here. If you have it available, that'll also make it easier for you. Then you can also use a craft knife and a ruler. They aren't essential, but they will make things easier for you when you're folding. Okay, now let's just go and remind you about the net of three-dimensional objects. A net is what you get if you unfold a three-dimensional object. So today we are going to be using nets to create models of 3D objects. This is the process we're going to follow. First, we're going to cut out the net, then we're going to fold on all the dotted lines, and it does help if you score lightly first, especially if you're working on cardstock, which I do recommend. We're also going to punch holes on the spots indicated with black dots. Then we're going to stick the net down on the matching outline on the page using glue on the shaded area. And then we're going to thread string through the holes in the order of the numbers. And finally, we're going to pull the ends of the string and watch the model form. Okay, so here's the first one we're going to be doing. If you have the worksheet that goes with this, then you can just use the net that you have. Otherwise, you can take a screenshot quickly and you can print this net out. I do recommend printing it on cardstock if you can, if you have available, because it will work better. It does work on regular paper, but it will work better for building the model if you're able to work with cardstock. Okay, so now what I want you to do is I want you to get that ready. So pause the video and then print it if you haven't already got it and cut it out, and then you can come back. Okay, so hopefully you've got that ready now. You should have something that looks like this. You should have printed it out and you should have cut it out. As you can see, I've done it on cardstock, so it's a bit thicker and it's a bit easier to work with when we're building the model. Okay, once you've done that, the next thing you're going to do is we're going to fold on the dotted lines. Now, like I said, it does help to score lightly, and we're going to use the ruler and the craft knife for this. So when you're scoring, you're not going to cut all the way through. You're just going to make a very light cut like that, just so that it breaks the surface on the top over here, because it's going to make it easier for us to fold it easily on that line, like that. Okay? Otherwise, it becomes a lot more difficult. It's much more important to score it if you're working with cardstock. Okay, so you're going to do that for all of these lines. So I'm going to score this. And here, be careful not to cut all the way through, because if you cut all the way through, then you're going to have to restart with a new net. So you're just doing it very lightly, just to break the surface of the card. Okay, so once I've scored it, I'm going to fold on all of those lines. And you can see, because I scored it, it automatically, or it naturally folds on the line, like that. Okay. So once you've done that, what you're going to do next is you're going to take your paper punch and you're going to punch holes on all of these black dots. Okay, so I've got this over here. I've taken the back of my paper punch so I can see the hole, or I can see the dot through the hole of the paper punch, and I just punch that out. And I do that for all of them. And you should end up with something like this. Now we've got our holes, and you can see that they are all numbered. Those numbers are there for a reason. So what we're going to do next is you're going to take the page. Now again, if you don't have the worksheet that goes with this, you don't actually have to. You can just do it on a normal page as well. It just helps if we stick this down. So what we're going to do is you're going to stick down or put glue on the area that is printed in gray like this. Okay, so we're going to put glue over there. And then we're going to stick our net down on there, like that. The gray just helps you to know what part of the net you need to stick down. Okay, so once you've done that, the next thing we're going to do is we are going to take our needle and thread or string or wool or whatever you have, and you're going to thread through the holes in the order of the numbers. So I'm going to start from underneath, and I'm going to come through the first hole, and then because I'm on top now, I'm going to go through from the top to the back. Then I'm going to go from underneath to the top again, then from the top underneath again, and then over here I'm going to go from underneath to the top. So I just keep on alternating like that. And once you've done that, you can then take your thread and you can pull, just make sure that your things are folded nicely. So you can pull it and it should form your model like this. And you should end up with something like this. I'm just going to do that like that. So you should end up with something that looks like that. So we've got here a square pyramid. So this shape over here is a square pyramid. Okay, so now we've done the first one together. Now you're going to do the next two by yourself. So the next one you're going to do is this one over here. So once again, if you don't already have the net, you can take a quick screenshot and you can print it out, preferably on cardstock. And then I want you to pause the video and I want you to do all the preparation. I want you to cut it out. I want you to do all the folding and I want you to do all the punching, and then you can come back. Okay, so hopefully you have that ready now. So let's go and build the model. So you should have something that looks like this. You should have cut it all out. You should have folded on all the dotted lines and you should have punched all of the holes. What we're going to do now is we're going to stick down on the very bottom part of the net over here. So I'm going to put glue on this gray shaded area. If you don't have this page to stick it onto, you can just put glue on the bottom part. Just make sure you don't put glue over where the holes are, obviously. Okay, so once we've done that, we're going to stick that down like that. I'm putting it like this to hopefully help you to see as much of it as possible. Okay. Now that we've done that, we're going to go and take our needle and thread or whatever you're using, and we're going to thread through the hole. So I'm going to start with number 1, go from the bottom, go from the back to the front, and then I'm going to go to number 2, go front to back over there. Then I'm going to come to number 3 and I'm going to go back to front again like that, and then number 4 front to back, and then number 5 back to front. And then for the last one over here, I'm just going to pull this through a bit. I'm going to come from the front to the back again. Okay, then once you've done that, we're going to take the two ends of the thread over here and we are going to pull on them. And you should find that as you pull on it, it forms a box like this. So this object or this model that we have now created is a cube, also known as a hexahedron. Okay, so that's what we should get for that one. It should look something like this. Okay, now we're going to go and do the last one for today. Okay, so for this one, you need to be careful when you're cutting this out. Make sure that you don't cut the circles off the rectangle, because if you do, you're going to have a problem. So stop cutting at about this point and that point, and the same thing on the side, about this point and that point, so you don't end up cutting them off, because then you're not going to be able to build your model. So once again, if you don't have the net already, you can print it out quickly. You can take a screenshot and print it out. Then I want you to pause the video and go and do all of the preparation again. Go and cut it out, do your punching and your folding, and then you can unpause again. Okay, so let's go and build your model. So once again, you should have something that looks like this. You should have cut it all out and punched all the holes, and you should have folded. You didn't really need to do scoring for this one because it's such a short space that needs to be folded like that. It just kind of folds automatically. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we are going to stick this down on part of one of the circles, the circle that has the 1 and the 7 on it. Okay, so I'm going to stick this down like this. Okay, so now we're going to do our threading. So for number 1, we're going to go from the back to the front. Then for number 2, we're going to go from the front to the back. For number 3, we're going to go back to front. Then for number 4, we're going to go front to back. But now for number 5, we're going to go in from the front again. Instead of going from the back to the front, we're going to go from the front to the back. Otherwise, it's going to get a little bit messed up. And then over here for number 6, we're going to go from the back to the front. And then for number 7, we're going to go from the front to the back again. Okay, so now we're going to go and take the 2 ends. Now before you do this, you may want to just bend these a little bit just so that they kind of know what to do. And you're going to take your 2 ends and you're going to pull like this, and you should find that it forms a cylinder like this. So this shape over here is a cylinder, and that we should have over there now. Okay, and that is one way that we're able to use nets of 3-dimensional objects to create models. Now that we've learned the concepts in this lesson, it's important to practice, practice, practice. If you haven't already got the worksheet that goes with this video, you can find it by clicking on the link in the description below. The worksheet comes with an extra exercise full of questions for you to work on to master the concepts covered in this lesson. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button so that others can benefit from it too. Also, be sure to subscribe so that you can easily find my other lessons, and hit the bell so that you will get notified about lessons as I upload them.